Let's pretend that we're having a sleepover. Right now, for me, it's 9 p.m. and I'm in my pajamas and I'm getting tired, perhaps even a little delirious. So it's not going to be that hard for me to pretend because I'm already 80% of the way to a sleepover. The only thing missing is I'm technically alone. But for you, it might be 3 in the afternoon. So I suggest you either pause this episode and save it for later when you're falling asleep, or just pretend that it's the evening time and we're having a sleepover. At tonight's sleepover, we're going to be playing Truth or Dare. Mainly just truth, because it's kind of hard to do dares virtually, especially on a podcast. Like, majority of dares are only interesting if you're watching the person do the dare. And this is technically a podcast, and a lot of people just listen to it. So I'm not going to like twerk for 60 seconds. Like, if that was a dare, I'm not like, what's the point of that? There's no audio element to that, especially not for me, because my butt does not make a sound when I twerk. It is like crickets when I twerk, unfortunately. There's no, clapping of the cheeks for me, unfortunately. So mainly we're just going to be playing Truth or Truth, but we're going to have a few dares in there. So get excited. Get cozy. Get in your PJs. Pretend that you're in your PJs. Pretend that it's dark out. And let's have a sleepover. This episode is presented to you by eBay. We all have that piece. You know the one. The thing that's so you've basically become known for it. And if you don't have yours yet, you'll find it on eBay. Let me put you on, people. eBay is where you'll find those one-of-a-kind, can't stop researching, stay up dreaming about pieces again and again. I'm talking about that off-the-runway red leather bomber you've had your eye on, the trendy top with the cowboy on it, or that sleek fleece from the 2017 colorway. All of these finds are on eBay, and they even offer millions of main character pieces backed by authenticity guarantee. eBay is the place for pre-loved and vintage fashion. eBay, things people love. Okay, so first we're going to start out with truths. I found some random truth questions online, and I'm going to be sharing my deepest and darkest secrets because that's what sleepovers are about. Let's begin. The first truth. The question is, what's your guilty pleasure? My guilty pleasure is gossip and drama. Like, I love going on YouTube and seeing on my homepage a drama video about some stupid internet bullshit. I love it. I click it. I don't always click it because sometimes I have restraint, and I know that this type of content makes me feel bad. So I have restraint and I don't click. But like 60% of the time I do click because there's something about it that's just so entertaining. And it's weirdly like a form of escapism for me, I think. Possibly because I have the same reaction to it that I think most people have towards true crime. It makes me feel prepared in a weird way. That's apparently one of the reasons why people like to watch true crime so much, because it makes you feel more prepared for if these types of things were to happen to you. I've heard that online. I've like read an article about that before. I feel like I have the same response to internet drama because if I watch videos about other people's internet drama, then I can prevent my own. It's kind of like a weird obsessive, potentially obsessive compulsive sort of thing. But I also think too that it's interesting. I watch a drama video and I am completely sucked in, more so than I am when I watch like educational content. That's cool and all, but I'm not sucked into it in the same way. But also I love gossiping with friends. I wish I didn't. I wish I was better than that. I've talked about this quite a bit on my podcast before, so you probably already know this about me, but I love gossip. I think it's because I find other human beings to be so interesting that to analyze them is really satisfying for me. It's really educational for me. It's really interesting for me. And I think to an extent, drama and gossip is kind of enjoyable for everyone, but I think I like it maybe a little too much. So I have to really be disciplined with myself to not watch too many drama videos, gossip too much with my friends. And again, like, I'm not gossiping in ways that I think are evil or wrong. I'm not starting rumors. I'm discussing facts and truths, which I think is less harmful, but still picking people apart constantly, discussing people's flaws and shortcomings and mistakes constantly isn't good for the brain. I feel like it puts me into a mindset that's a bit too critical, which then ends up turning onto myself, and I become way too critical of myself because I've been sort of critical of others. So anyway, that's my guilty pleasure. I'm trying to think if I have any other ones. Another guilty pleasure, YouTube Shorts. Okay. Because I don't scroll on Instagram anymore. I'm pretty good about it. I don't scroll on TikTok. The only social media adjacent app that I have is YouTube. And I actually don't even have the YouTube app downloaded on my phone. If I want to use YouTube, I have to go either on my iPad or onto Google on my phone. But there have been moments when I've just really wanted to scroll on YouTube Shorts. I just want to scroll and brain rot, if you will. And I've literally opened up Google on my phone and looked up YouTube and then watched YouTube Shorts in my browser. Like, that's extra. That's a lot, but I've done it. I really think scrolling is bad for my brain. It's bad for my attention span. It's bad for my creativity. But every once in a while, I just want to scroll. I just want to scroll. And I will say YouTube Shorts are much less dramatic than TikTok, much less dramatic than Instagram Reels. Actually, Instagram Reels aren't really dramatic. TikTok is really dramatic for some reason. Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts are kind of the same kind of content for me. Maybe Instagram is a little bit more addicting than YouTube Shorts, but yeah, like the algorithm is just maybe a little bit more addicting. I don't know. But anyway, that's another guilty pleasure. Okay, next. How would you rate your looks on a scale of 1 to 10? The number that comes to mind for me is 7. I feel like I'm a 7. And I'm not trying to like insult myself. I think some people would think the right thing to do would be to say, I'm a 10. Like, we should all think that we're a 10. But I don't think I'm a 10. I don't think I'm the most attractive, like sexy, hot person of all time. And that's okay. Like, a 7 is great. I think I'm cute. I think I have a hot moment here and there. But I have many unattractive moments. I don't know. But then at the same time, like, attractiveness is kind of subjective. So in my own eyes, I think I'm a 7 out of 10. A decent portion of the time, I feel like I look pretty cute. Like, let's say 70% of the time. And then there's like 30% of the time where I don't feel very attractive, but that's fine. Nobody's going to feel attractive all the time. And also, being attractive is not my number one priority in life. My number one priority in life is being a good person. And I feel like I'm a good person, honestly, probably 95% of the time. Maybe even higher, honestly, maybe 98. At this point in my life, I feel like I'm a pretty good person. That's more important to me. That number is more important to me than my attractiveness number. I'm going to say a 7 out of 10. I think that's still pretty generous. Honestly, I might be a 6. No, but I'll give myself a 7. And I think other people would probably rate me a 6. Just because I'm not super inspired by being like traditionally attractive necessarily. Like, I don't pick out my clothes considering traditional attractiveness. My hair and my makeup aren't usually traditionally attractive. Like, I make choices that I think are cool to me, that are attractive to me and my taste and my eye. But all I got to do is read comments on the internet. And I see that not everyone agrees with me, but that doesn't really matter. So to me, I'm a 7 out of 10. Maybe to everybody else, I'm like a 5 out of 10 or like a 6 out of 10. And there's also like physical attributes that I can't control. I mean, again, it's subjective. Like, everybody has different things that they're attracted to. I don't know. But I'm going to give myself a 7 out of 10. Okay, next. When was the last time you lied? I'm going to be honest. I've lied pretty recently. I lied about being busy to cancel plans. Wow, I've actually done that a lot recently. In fact, I did that today. I canceled an appointment today and I made up some lie. I mean, do I need to lie about that? I think it's fine. If it's going to save feelings, if it's going to make canceling seem a little bit more valid, maybe there's an actual valid reason why you're canceling. Like, for example, today I canceled an appointment for a valid reason, but I didn't really want to get into it and explain that to the person who is running the front desk at the place I had this appointment at. Do you know what I'm saying? It just made more sense to come up with a white lie that's just more digestible than actually be honest. Like, the reason why I canceled the appointment today was because I had a rough day emotionally. I really kind of was having a little bit of a mental breakdown, to be honest, for the first time in a very long time. I've been very emotionally stable lately, but today I just felt, to be honest, a little bit depressed. And I was having a hard time moving. I've been in a really strong place mentally lately, but for whatever reason today, I just felt weak and I just couldn't do it. But that's a really hard thing to explain and an unnecessary thing to explain to somebody managing appointments. But I've also lied to get out of hanging out with people recently. I do that all the time because sometimes I just need to be by myself. Sometimes I just want to get work done. But telling the truth about that might make the person feel like they're insignificant in my life or they don't matter. And so I'd rather give a more valid excuse because I think that would kind of preserve their feelings. And I don't think that's wrong, but that's the last time I lied. I don't lie a lot, to be honest. It's against my morals. Like I just don't believe in it. And when I do lie, it makes me feel so terrible and bad that I end up just telling the truth eventually anyway. So at this point in my life, I just don't really lie anymore. Okay, next truth. When was the last time you cried? The last time I cried was today. It was today because I was feeling a little bit depressed. Now, I know why I'm feeling depressed, I think. Number one, because I'm having a bit of a creative mental block for some reason. Like the last few weeks, my brain's just been kind of empty. And at a certain point, that starts to become depressing, at least for me. And I feel like my brain isn't working. I get a lot of my joy and fulfillment from doing creative tasks. And my job is very creative in weird ways. And so if I don't have any ideas, not only am I not getting that joy and fulfillment from the act of doing a creative task, but also I'm not getting work done. And I also get a lot of joy and fulfillment from getting work done. And so that kind of upset me today. So I cried about that, but I pushed through it. And I'll be honest, I didn't get a lot done today, but now we're having a sleepover. So I feel better. Do you? Well, in some ways, this is kind of a creative idea. I eventually had an idea of something to do, something to work on. Role play sleepover podcast episode. So, I kind of did, I guess, come up with something. So that's good. I think that helped with my mental breakdown, but also I'm having fun with you all. Might not sound like it in my tone because I cried a little bit today and it's late, so I'm tired, but I'm having a lot of fun. But also like past 8:30, I become pretty deadpan. Like my sense of humor, it's there, but it's a little different. I'm kind of on low power mode, but that doesn't mean that I'm useless. I'm just a little different. But then at like 2 a.m, I have a weird second wind and I'm like super delirious and I get weird and my energy like comes back up. Sometimes. Depends. Anyway, moving on. Let's break it up with a dare. Okay, we've done a lot of truths. Let's do a dare now. Share your phone's search history. Let's do it. Okay. Okay. I looked up the band Oasis playing the Rose Bowl, which is a venue here in Los Angeles, because I might go see that. I looked up Anthony Fantano, the music reviewer YouTuber. I don't remember why I looked that up. I looked up, is hand sanitizer equally as effective as washing your hands? Because I prefer to just use hand sanitizer, like in general in my life. And I was curious how it compares to like actually washing hands with soap. Turns out washing hands with soap and water is much more effective. So yeah, that's something I learned. Okay. Okay. This is so random. I looked up keto, like the diet, keto stink breath. Okay. Here's why I looked this up. I was talking to somebody today about keto. Randomly, they brought it up and we were talking about it. And I was like, did you know that it gives you bad breath? Like being on this diet, which by the way, the keto diet, if you don't know what it is basically a diet where you basically eat really high fat and really high protein. Anyway, I'm not interested in doing that diet. Don't worry. But I was talking to somebody about it and I was like, did you know it gives you bad breath? And they're like, what? And so I Googled it and I don't really understand why it gives you bad breath, but apparently it makes like being on that diet fully changes your breath. Apparently it's temporary, but yeah. Okay, what else? Oh, I looked up sleeping with pillow under legs. So recently I've been sleeping with a pillow under my legs. I'm a back sleeper nowadays. I used to be a stomach sleeper, but it started hurting my body. So I stopped and now I sleep on my back. And I wanted to look up if that was something that actually was like beneficial or if there were any specific type of pillows that are good for that. So I looked that up. I basically discovered that it is good for your back pain if you have back pain, which I do. And it's interesting because I kind of discovered that on my own. Because one night I was laying down and I had back pain and I was like, I need my legs up. And so I just put a pillow under there and turns out it's like fully a thing. So that was cool. Okay, let me look at a few more. I looked up a bunch of hotels in New York because the hotel I normally stay at was sold out, and I'm going to New York literally tomorrow. So I had to find a new hotel. Boring. Anything like juicy in here? A lot of hotels. I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling. Oh, okay. I looked up my favorite frozen yogurt places hours because I'm obsessed with frozen yogurt right now. Obsessed. And there's this place in LA that has frozen Greek yogurt and it's so, so good. Oh my God. I could eat it every day. And I would if it wasn't like a 15-minute drive. If it was like a 5-minute drive, I'd be screwed. I'd be eating yogurt for every meal. Frozen yogurt, of course. Okay. So that was a dare. That wasn't that juicy, to be honest. Like, kind of boring. All right, moving on. Let's go back to some truths. What's your biggest insecurity? To be honest, I don't really think about this a lot. So let's work through it together. It's not my looks. I've kind of let that go to an extent. Like there's been times in my life where how I look has been my biggest insecurity. Like I've been obsessed with what I look like and obsessed with my flaws. I've let that go, I would say. So it probably has something more to do with my mind, my personality. I would say my biggest insecurity is who I was when I was younger, weirdly. Like, because I grew up on the internet and everyone can access who I was as a teenager anytime that they want, I'm hyper aware of who I was as a teenager. And naturally, I've grown a lot since I was a teenager in a bazillion different ways. And so the sort of immortality of my teenager self, I think sometimes is a challenge for me. It's sort of an insecurity for me because I look back and I think I was cringe. I didn't have my priorities in order. I didn't have as good of a work ethic. Like there's so many different things that to me are maybe a bit embarrassing, but I don't know. I'm not really that insecure about that. Like I am a little bit, but I wouldn't say it like keeps me up at night. To be honest, I don't have that many insecurities at this point. I've really let a lot of them go. Oh my God. I just realized what my biggest insecurity is. My biggest insecurity is my sexualness. I feel insecure. This is so TMI. This is what sleepovers are for, though. Come on. Okay. Like, I feel insecure about my ability to be like hot to a guy. Like, I feel like I'm not naturally the type to be super flirty, super feminine. I'm not like a super outwardly sexual person necessarily. And so that's something that makes me insecure sometimes because I feel like that's something that boys that I like probably desire. The thing is, it's not like it's not maybe in me. Like it's in me, but I psych myself out about it. But I'm also like very sparing with it as well because that's just who I am. But that's, I think, probably my biggest insecurity is just feeling like I'm not hot to guys I like. And instead, I feel like I almost will, like in a weird way, maybe even kind of friend zone myself or like it's almost like a defense mechanism. I'm like trying to like be their friend instead of like be flirtatious and exciting. But it's not like it never comes out or it's not like it doesn't exist. Like I do think it's there. I do think it happens. And it's even more hard at times in a relationship because I'm so comfortable with who I'm dating and I'm so close with them that it becomes even more embarrassing and weird for me to switch from being like their friend, because, you know, part of dating is being friends, to like, oh, wait, now I'm supposed to be like hot, but like we were just like hanging out as friends 5 minutes ago. Like that's a hard transition for me. I don't know. I get embarrassed by being like sexual sometimes. It makes me cringe. Okay, next. Who are you most jealous of? This is an interesting one. I feel like I always have someone that I'm jealous of. I actually don't have one right now. And I'm, again, not just saying that to avoid answering the question, because I am going to answer the question. I just don't have anyone in particular right now. But I usually have someone that I'm jealous of. It's always a girl. And it comes down to me thinking that this particular girl is maybe cool and being jealous that I feel like she's cooler than me. You know what I mean? I'll give some examples. Like there was this one time I was really jealous of this girl because she talked to my ex-boyfriend for a while. I found out through the grapevine. Didn't find it out from my ex, found it out elsewhere through the grapevine. And this particular girl felt so much more mature than me. I felt at the time still like a teenager. I was in my very early 20s. I was maybe 20, but I felt like a teenager still. I felt like a girl. And this particular girl felt like a woman, smarter than me, more elegant than me. I felt like her style was more mature, like her clothing was more mature. Her career path felt more mature, more romantic even. And at the time I was dating a guy who was older than me, and it really bothered me that he talked to her even though we were dating. He chose me for whatever reason. This particular girl felt so much more mature, and it just really got under my skin. And so for like, honestly, probably a year, I was very jealous of this particular girl. There have also been times where I've fixated on a particular girl who fixated is the wrong word. I'm not like stalking these girls, but there's oftentimes someone who is making me feel jealous. Like they're the epitome of what I wish I was at a particular moment. And again, a lot of times I don't even know these girls, which is interesting because a lot of times I'm projecting onto these girls. They're not actually probably living the life that I think they're living. They might have a wonderful life, but I'm romanticizing what I think their life is based on their internet presence or their connection to my life in whatever way, if they, dated a guy I'm dating or whatever. I think the reason why I don't have someone like that right now is because I'm in a pretty comfortable place emotionally where I feel pretty secure in myself. I'm distracted and putting my energy towards working on things that are inspiring to me, even though I have had sort of a creative dry spell. I'm at least focusing on getting through it. I'm not thinking about other people right now, even though I'm going through a hard time, which is kind of interesting. So I don't know. But throughout my life, I've had many of these girls that I've been jealous of, and it eventually resolves, but it's very interesting. Okay, moving on. I briefly interrupt this episode to let you know that this episode is brought to you by SKIMS. I'm somebody who prioritizes fashion and looking chic, but I also prioritize comfort because when I'm not comfortable, I can't be myself. Skims has stuff for every day for me, but also specific products for very specific needs. If I'm going to an event and I need some sort of shapewear or some sort of specific bra that will make my boobs look a certain way, I know Skims has the thing for that. My favorite underwear are pretty much any of the boy shorts because I just love boy shorts. If I want something more cozy, I'll choose the cotton ones. If I want something that disappears under my clothing, I'll wear the Fits Everybody collection. The boy shorts are incredible. Shop my favorite bras and underwear at skims.com. And after you place your order, be sure to let them know that I sent you. Select podcast in the survey and select anything goes in the drop-down menu that follows. Now, back to the episode. Another truth. Where is the weirdest place that you've peed? I've peed in some weird places. I've peed in a urinal at a Del Taco, I think. I've peed in a water bottle in the back seat of my friend's car when we were driving somewhere in Colorado. I've peed on someone's front lawn in high school when I was drunk. It wasn't my best moment. The other day, I was on a hike and I peed in the woods, which sucks, by the way. I literally, it's so annoying. I hate peeing in the woods. I hate it. It's so terrible. There were like spider webs all over me because I had to, get off the trail so that nobody could see me when I was peeing. But then there was a bunch of spider webs, which was freaking me out. And then, I had to really like squat down and grab onto a tree to pee and be in the right position so that I didn't pee on my shoes. And then I didn't have anything to wipe with because I forgot to like pack toilet paper. Like I usually don't go on hikes where there's no bathroom at the start of the trail. This particular one, there was no bathroom. So I had to pee in the woods. Now I'm going to start packing toilet paper. But anyway, I learned that the hard way. Thank God I didn't poop. Can you imagine? Imagine, like, what would I have done? I mean, I don't know. I actually don't know. Use leaves, I guess. Ugh. I really hope that day doesn't come for me. But I am in a hiking phase. I love hiking right now. So I need to start bringing proper things so that I'm prepared for if emergency strikes. Anyway, okay, let's do another truth. How many selfies do you take per day? At this point in my life, I mean, not even one. I probably take one selfie every 2 weeks. And that is not a joke. However, do I check my phone reflection to see what I look like every day? Absolutely every day. But I don't actually take a photo. I used to take literally probably 20 selfies a day. 3 years ago, not even, maybe 2 years ago, selfies every day, which I don't really understand what I was doing. I think it's because I was much more focused on my appearance a few years ago. And so I was almost kind of checking in, like, what do I look like today? You know, do I still look cute today? Can I still take a cute photo today? It was almost like an obsessive thing, which is kind of sad. But luckily those days are over. We're done with selfies like that. Let's do a dare. It's been a while. Read some of your last few text messages out loud. Okay. Honestly, I don't really text anything that interesting. So let's see. While I was recording this, I got a call and I said, I'm recording. Super interesting. Okay. I was texting my friends about being in New York because they're actually going to be in New York. And I'm going to New York tomorrow. Again, I was just in New York 2 weeks ago and now I'm going back again. Anyway, so we were asking each other when we get to New York. Super fucking boring. Let's try to find something interesting. A lot of like random work related texts. There is nothing interesting in here. It's all like work related stuff and like logistical related stuff. Like me texting my dad about my dad's coming to New York with me on this trip. The last trip I went on alone, but this one he's coming with me. Like it's all boring. That's so boring. I wish that was more interesting. Sorry. I'm kind of boring, to be honest. Like I don't have like it's not like I have all these boys in my texts, you know? I'm not in that phase of my life. I don't really think I ever have been, but there's definitely not in that phase right now. Like I have like close friends that I talk to a few times a week, but like we don't even talk about that much interesting stuff. Okay, so that was really boring. Okay, moving on. Another truth. When was the last time you shit your pants? Funny story, more recent than I wish to admit. And again, let's not like I'm going to tell you this fucking story, but let's be nice to me. Okay? Cuz I know it's disgusting. I know I'm 24 years old and I like shouldn't be shitting myself, right? But I did. And it was like a few months ago. I know this isn't the first time I've told a story about shitting my pants. A few years ago I was having a little brief stint of shitting my pants because I was trying to figure out a medication, actually really just a supplement that was helping with my IBS, particularly my IBS-C, which basically is irritable bowel syndrome where you have an upset tummy and you're constipated all the time. I have been chronically constipated since I was a kid due to having IBS. And a few years ago, I started trying to figure out how to sort of solve the issue. And I started taking supplements. Don't worry, all of my doctors are aware of what I'm taking, whatever. But I had to figure out how much of this particular supplement to take. It's not a laxative, by the way, but if you take too much, it can give you diarrhea. So it took me a little bit of time to figure it out. And ever since then, I haven't shit myself. There's just a little phase there where I had a few rough moments. But then it stopped completely for like years until recently. Okay. On this particular evening, my stomach felt really like rumbly and achy, and my stomach was like super distended, and I kind of felt nauseous. It was very weird. I didn't really know what was going on, and I had a hard time falling asleep that night. I was alone, by the way. Nobody like no boys were over or anything, thank God. And then I woke up in the middle of the night because I had to go to the bathroom. Diarrhea, right? Sorry, TMI, but you fucking asked for it. You could have skipped through this and you didn't. You decided to sit and you knew what was coming. So that's on you. And this is actually such a disgusting story. I'm like regretting telling it, but all good. I sit down on the toilet. It's super late, like 3 a.m, and I'm woozy. Like I don't even know what's going on. And I'm going to the bathroom, going to the bathroom, going to the bathroom. I complete my project, if you will, get up and start walking back to my bed. This is disgusting. So please brace yourself. And don't use this against me later. I'm being generous with this story. I smell something a little off. I'm like, what? Like, I very much cleaned myself up. Like, this is not what? And I was like, this is weird. Like, and I'm still like half asleep. All the lights are out. I was like, what is that? And I get back into bed and it's not going away. I can still smell something a little bit off. And I'm like, what is happening? So I turn my lights on and I'm like, did the cat poop somewhere? Like, what's going on? Anyway, I shit the bed. I think I had minor food poisoning, to be honest. And I shit the bed. Yeah, I did. But you know what's crazy, actually? It didn't get onto my sheets. It was in my shorts, which is disgusting, but it wasn't that much. So it was in the shorts and well, now I have to tell you what I did after that because now I have shit in my shorts, right? So it's like, what do you do? So the first thing I did obviously was take the shorts off immediately, clean myself up triple times, whatever, like really clean myself up. Like we're soaping, we're watering, you know what I mean? And I was like, okay, what now? Because now I have these shorts that I need to deal with. So my idea was, I'm going to. This is disgusting. Are you grossed out? Are you unsubscribing? Are you unfollowing, etc.? Well, when you do 2 podcast episodes a week, eventually you have to tell the story about how you shit yourself. You know, you just have to. Anyway, I put my shorts in the toilet and I shook them around and shook them around and shook them around for literally, I'm not kidding, 5 minutes straight until they were honestly virtually clean. I literally just sat there and shook them because I was like, I don't know what else to do with these shorts. They're very dirty and I'm not just going to throw them. Like, what else? So that actually ended up working out pretty well. And then I safely brought them to my washing machine and I washed them immediately. And that was the end of it. So that was the last time I shit my pants. All right, moving on. Another truth. What's a weird thing you do when you're alone? Number 1, I would say I walk around my house in a very bizarre way. I will be on the phone or just thinking about something and I will walk in circles around my living room, like just over and over and over again. It's very odd. I'll lick the plate after I'm done eating. I will pick my nose, find the nearest socially acceptable place to put it. I'm not like a monster, I'm not flicking it around. When I was a kid, I definitely probably did that. Never ate it though. So respect me for that. What's some other weird stuff I do? I don't know, like all the normal human stuff. I fart, I burp. I don't talk to myself really. Every once in a while, occasionally I'll talk to my cats. Occasionally, but not very often. Yeah, I'm not that weird. Okay, let's break it up with a dare. Talk in a British accent. Okay. I'm having a wonderful time today at sorry, let me try that again actually. I'm having an absolutely wonderful time at our sleepover this evening. It's been truly a beautiful evening. Was that good or what? I'm not particularly good at accents. It's not really my thing. It's not something that I think is like a flex. Like, people who just love to do an accent, like that is their party trick. That doesn't move the needle for me. I think it's impressive. Like, don't get me wrong, it is impressive, but there's something about it I don't like. Like, I don't want to hear other people's accent, like doing an accent that they don't naturally have. Something about it just kind of makes me cringe a little bit. And I'm not trying to insult anyone because there are some wonderful people out there that love to show up to a party and be like, listen to my Australian accent. It's like, I get it. I get it. It is a skill. It's definitely a skill, but like, it makes me a little bit uncomfortable and it makes me cringe a little bit. And like, it's impressive, but it doesn't move the needle for me. Like my jaw's not on the floor. Okay, next, let's do another truth. If you could be any celebrity for a day, who would you choose and why? I wouldn't want to be any celebrity for a day. There's like not one celebrity I look at and I'm like, holy shit, your life seems awesome. Which might seem shocking to some of you, but when I think of A-list celebrities, I kind of shudder in terror about what that existence would be like. Like, I don't envy it at all. I don't crave it at all. I don't care if they're flying on the private jet. I don't care if they have a really hot significant other. I don't care if they're really hot. I don't care. Not being able to go to the grocery store, go to the mall, not being able to trust anyone because you're the most famous person, one of the most famous people in the world. Like that is my nightmare, to be honest. So it's hard for me to choose, but I would say perhaps, oh, I know my answer. I would say Simone Biles, the gymnast, the Olympic gymnast, because I just want to know what it would feel like to be able to flip like that. It probably feels so good. I know it feels good because I was a competitive cheerleader growing up and I could flip to an extent. Not like Simone Biles, but I could flip a little bit. I could do like a backflip, but I couldn't do any of the twisting stuff. I couldn't do it. Like I know how good it feels to flip, but I wasn't that, like I was not that good. But like I want to know what it really feels like. And again, that's a boring answer, but that's my answer. But it also would be fun to be somebody like Paris Hilton for the day, mainly because I just want to know what the 90s were like. Like she has all these memories of what like all the 90s parties were like. Early 2000s. Was it 90s or early 2000s? I don't even know. Anyway, she went to so many parties. I would almost want to be Paris Hilton for the day to just know what she's seen. Or even like Kate Moss Like, what did Kate Moss see at these 90s parties? You know what I mean? Like, what was everyone doing? Like, what was the vibe? I think it was kind of unhinged, but I'm like curious about it. So if I was Kate Moss for the day, I'd be able to remember the 90s parties. So that would be like my other answer. But I'm less interested in that. But it would be really interesting because I feel like no one really knows like what went on. Well, now this is starting to sound like I'm talking about like criminal related stuff. I'm not even talking about that. If you know what I'm talking about. Like I'm not talking about like bad things or anything necessarily. I'm more just talking about parties before the internet. What was it like being at a party where everybody could do as much drugs as they want and it would probably not get out? I mean, it still could get out, but like less. I don't know. Okay, those are my answers. I'm moving on. Next, let's do another truth. Would you ever get plastic surgery? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. However, I don't want to say never because I don't know. I might be 50 and be like, fuck it. I'll get a little boob lift or something, or I'll get a little facelift. Fuck it. I don't know. I really don't want to do that. Like right now, I want to believe that I'm committed to aging naturally because that is something that I think is a lost. It's like no one's doing it anymore. And I want to be one of the people to do it. You know, I think it's especially in the pop culture sphere, no one is aging naturally, which I don't blame public figures because their appearance is scrutinized the most. So it makes sense that, public figures want to get work done and look as young and as beautiful as they possibly can because it'll make their life easier. I get it. I'd like to believe, though, that I can age gracefully through taking good care of myself. And that is my goal. That is my vision for my future. However, so much changes in life and I don't feel comfortable saying I'll never do it. It's almost like I don't trust myself because I know that there's a part of me deep down that does like to look good, and if there's something I could do down the line that would make me feel better as I age, I can't promise that I'm not going to succumb to that temptation. So we shall see together. Let's do another dare. Show what you have in your pockets right now. I actually took everything out of my pockets when I sat down to record this, but I'll show you what was in my pockets. Okay, number one, I had my phone. Obvi, phone. Classic me. By the way, classic us. Gen Z, if you're Gen Z as well, we're always on our damn phone. Gen Alpha, if you're Gen Alpha, even worse. Okay, next, this is something that's kind of inappropriate. I have Zyn nicotine pouches in my pocket because a few months ago, I got off the Juul, the vape, and I switched over to the Zyn. Do I still have nicotine in my system? Yes, but at least I'm not inhaling something. That's the way I look at it. So we're back on the Zyn, whatever. But also do not try them, okay? I do not condone nicotine consumption. And then last but not least, a tinted lip balm. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Superstar Lip, I think. It's great. Makes my lips look cute. That's what's in my pockets right now. Super, super, like that's seriously some crazy stuff. Okay, moving on. Let's go back to some truths. Ooh, this is a tough one. Do you still have any feelings for any of your exes? My answer is no. But if you date someone for any number of time, even if you date someone for 6 months, you will never forget about them. You will always remember how you felt about them. You will always remember the memories you had with the person. Like, even though the feelings may not be there anymore, you got screwed over or the feelings have just dissipated, you'll still always feel some type of way about them. So I guess technically there are still feelings there about them, all of them. But I don't have feelings in the sense that like I'm yearning for any of them, no. I think that's a pretty universal experience, And I'm even more sure of that because I feel that way about every ex that I have. And I think about all of them sometimes. And I bet they think about me because that's how this shit works. Maybe they don't think about me though. But see, that's fine with me because I'm done. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm good. So yeah. Okay. Let's do another truth. What's your biggest turnoff? I have a lot of turnoffs, to be honest. I would say number one, just mean or rude, obviously. Like if somebody's mean or rude, that's obviously a turnoff. But see, that's obvious. Wait, I need to be more specific. And I'm not trying to be mean, but this is a turnoff for me. But listen, something can be a turnoff for me, like romantically, sexually, but I can still be friends with this person. I just might be turned off romantically. I would say if the sense of humor is bad, like the jokes aren't necessarily funny, or maybe there isn't really a sense of humor at all. I like a silly boy. Another turn off for me is when somebody's challenging to talk to, which is interesting because I've still been with guys who are challenging to talk to, but that hasn't always been a turn off for me. But at this point in my life, it is. Oh, bad style. I'm such a visual person and I love fashion so much that if the fashion, the style isn't good, if I don't like it, that can be a huge turn off. And I actually don't feel bad about that. I don't think it's superficial or anything. Like that is such a huge part of what makes me attracted to somebody is their taste in clothing and aesthetics. Like that means a lot to me. And that makes them more attractive to me. That's like 50% of attractiveness to me is how somebody chooses to present themselves. I don't even like their physical attributes are almost less important than how they choose to style themselves, how they, like what clothes they choose, what kind of haircut they have, whatever. Like all of that stuff is almost more important to me. That might even be my biggest turn off, honestly, bad style. More so now than ever, too. Like in the past, that wasn't as important to me, but at this point in my life today, it's very important to me. Okay, the next truth is what's your biggest turn on? Well, the opposite of all of those things. Funny, good sense of humor, duh. Good style, fashionable, easy to talk to, but also flirts with me, okay? I don't want to have to do the flirting. Flirt with me. That is a turn on for me because I just get to sit back and enjoy it and then maybe like flirt a little bit back here and there, but for the most part it's like I just get to enjoy being flirted with. And then I can like reciprocate a little bit, but I like somebody who's going to flirt with me first. And also kind of initiate everything, like ask for my number, tell me I look cute tonight. I don't want to do that stuff first. It's exhausting. I'd rather have somebody else do it. Okay, let's do another dare. This dare is call your parents and say you got engaged. Let's see if they're up. Okay, my dad didn't answer. Let's see if my mom's up. They're not going to believe me. Okay, while we wait for one of my parents to respond and tell me if they're awake, we'll answer another truth. What's the largest age gap you've had with a partner? 5 years. Boring. Okay, next. Tell a crazy one-night stand story. I really don't have that many. One kind of crazy one was when my friend and I ultimately hooked up with 2 boys in the same bed. It was the 4 of us in the same bed. That was interesting, but we didn't interact at all. No. But we were there in the same bed. It was very odd. I didn't love it. And I felt, going back to my biggest insecurity of me not being like the most sexual person, feeling kind of cringed out and psyched out or whatever. Oh, my mom's calling. Okay, now we can do this. Hi.
Hello.
Wait, you're not going to believe what just happened.
What?
I got proposed to.
What?
I'm kidding, you guys. This fucking sucks. I'm doing a podcast episode where I'm doing a fake role play sleepover with the audience. Very meta concept. And we're playing truth or dare with the audience. And one of the dares is to call my parents and say I got engaged.
Well, you know why? Okay, you know why? Immediately I went, that can't be true.
Okay, whatever. Listen, I'm gonna finish recording this and I'll call back in a minute.
Listen, I'm not saying he doesn't want to.
No, no, it's okay. No, I need to finish recording this and I'm gonna call you back.
Oh, okay.
Okay, talk to you in a bit. Okay, last but not least, we're doing one more truth. Oh wait, no, that was kind of the end of it. Wait, that was it. Okay. Wait, that's it. It's time to go to bed. We need to go to bed. I'm exhausted. You're exhausted. Okay, let's go to bed. I hope that you enjoyed this sleepover with me. And I hope you sleep so soundly tonight, like unbelievably soundly tonight. And if you want to hang out during the daylight, new episodes of Anything Goes every Thursday and Sunday. Anything Goes is everywhere at Anything Goes. I'm everywhere at Emma Chamberlain, and my coffee company is everywhere at Chamberlain Coffee. I love you all. I'm going to go to bed and I'll talk to you in a few days. Good night. Love you. Bye.